Hello there.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome back, guys, to Jurassic Unicast. It's been a while, Steve, since we've been on together live. A lot's happened in that time.
It has.
We've had Christmas, Boxing Day, we've had Thanksgiving. I think have all been live for the American people, yeah, coming up to a brand new year. How you been?
Yeah. Even more excited that the year that's approaching is Jurassic World Dominion year. The year it's released.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, no, we've got a few people in the chat. Damien, Mike, Chris, Doors Dinos is back. Welcome, guys. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, no, it's exciting stuff. There's just been so much go. Like you've been been away from it all, haven't you? You haven't really been in the loop with it.
Yeah, what with having COVID and work and everything else leading up to Christmas, I've not really concentrated much on Jurassic. And I know, having a Jurassic channel, I should. But it's sort of been quite nice not having to go and talk about it every single day for like 2 to 3 hours and discuss every little detail in it. I've seen a couple of the images, not all of them though. So it'll be interesting to actually break it down in the stream.
Yeah, we've got it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? Like, not obviously where we're both so like we've got so much slim amount of time.
Yeah.
that like doing things like this probably is the ideal situation, really. So we can also almost have like a catch up, and although we speak to each other every day, but not live with everyone else in the community. Yeah. So we can actually finally sort of divulge and get each other's thoughts on everything that's going on.
Although it would be good, and we've sort of tweaked at this idea. Like we said, we do talk every single day, and some of our main ones are at lunchtime, and we must talk for about 40 minutes just talking about Jurassic.
Yeah, so we have some of the best conversations just on the phone.
Yeah, so we may look at doing these live sort of random phone calls.
Well, there's that new option, isn't there? The new Twitter thing.
Yeah, so we're looking at doing Twitter live podcasting. I forget what the thing's called. But yeah, we'll look at doing that. So stay tuned. Once the new year breaks, we'll look at doing that.
So let's just have a quick look at the chat. Jonathan's in the house. Hello, Jonathan. And Jared is back. Hello, Jared.
Jared.
Doing well, mate. Let's get that little banner going up. And just going to create. Steve, actually, there was a question on there which you can talk about while I create it from Damien. Which I thought you might want to answer.
Okay. Damien, my thoughts on Camp Cretaceous Season 4. Episode 1, pretty good. I can't tell you about episodes 2 to whenever because I haven't seen them.
I still can't believe you haven't seen it.
I've not had the time. I've watched one episode, like the first one, and that's it. And yeah, like the first episode was okay. Again, I can't remember much of it. It was probably about 2 weeks ago I watched it. But what I will be doing, hopefully sometime this week, is finishing it all with my little boy. Yeah. And I'll have a bit more thoughts when I do my next Jurassic World Evolution live stream. So give it a couple of weeks. Damien, come on the stream, ask me that question again, and we'll go from there.
Indeed. So, yeah, Chris is like, what?
Yeah.
But my thoughts on season 4 are...
Oh.
My thoughts on season 4, I'll get back to you very, very shortly.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on season 4 are that it was a good fun season for what it was, in its own way, but I don't like how it is supposed to connect to the timeline. I think it's a bit too over the top, a bit too far fetched. I enjoyed watching the episodes with Chris. We had a laugh, but for me, it's just so far beyond believability. It's not canon.
Yeah. There we go. And Mike's agreed. He says, honestly, you're not missing much, mate. Oh, I think.
Right. So, Stephen, the first thing I want to talk about is the image that popped up like about, I think it was a week ago, and it is this one. Maybe 2 weeks ago, actually. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a little while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Therizinosaurus.
Therizino.
How excited are you for this one?
Extremely excited, considering the lethalness in arc that this dino is. I can't wait to see this thing in full bodied in a film, attacking whoever, whatever. I mean, this thing is a killer.
I see now. How would you like it to be portrayed?
As in, like his character as...
Yeah, it's sort of animation, like, sort of, yeah.
I'd say for the complex way that this Therizino is, I'd say it has to be CGI. There's not much you can do as animation. No, animatronic, sorry. And its actual character portrayal.
Like behaviour.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be aggressive.
Aggressive,
like,
yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
We need to play like a little tune for you, Jonathan.
Jonathan.
You are the man, mate.
You are our number one. Thank you so much, and I wish you a Merry New Year.
Yes.
I really appreciate that, mate. Yeah, so...
I'd say the Therizinosaurus is going to be a really aggressive creature, although it's difficult because you look at this scene where Claire's in the water. I mean, in any scenario, she's gone. She's dead. Yeah,
I feel like with this animal, like it's just one of those things that, yeah, I think, here you go. I think I said it in one of my my video on it. The murder turkey.
Murder turkey.
It's just the type of animal you just don't want to mess with.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, even if it's defending itself, like I can imagine it being highly aggressive.
Yeah. Because what are they? They're quite tall. They're like 9 to 12 foot tall, aren't they?
Yeah, possibly even taller than that.
Yeah.
They're probably taller in height than probably a T-Rex, but just not as built and length.
No.
You know what I mean? We've got someone new. There you go. My name's Zeng. Hello, Zeng. How you doing?
Hello, Zeng. Welcome to the stream, mate. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
And the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Down there somewhere. Yeah, no, Matt said season 4 was so bad, like I can't believe how out there it was. Felt so far from what Jurassic actually is. The whole reboot just took me out of the show.
Robots.
The robot took me out of the show. Sorry, man. Yeah. I kind of think the same, really. Oi. Zeng, mate. Cow on your eyes.
No.
So we got. So what was you saying? I've lost it now. I forgot because the chat's kind of got me confused. In.
So it's something about the robots, wasn't it? That season 4 was the worst reboot.
Oh yeah, because of the robots.
Not reboot.
Yeah, kind of. I think the robots kind of make it go a bit strange, really.
Yeah.
Although, ironically, the robots weren't the thing that I had the most problem with in the show. Okay. The thing I had the most problem with were the actual drones and the whole idea of the controlling the dinosaurs using the drones.
Okay.
That's what I found the weirdest thing about it. The actual robots, they're all right. They're wrong. If I had a choice, I would completely remove them. But how they were then played out, I kind of don't really have an issue with.
Yeah.
But they worked to a certain extent. Anyway, back to this picture. I want this character to be Steve. I know that you aren't the biggest fan of Avatar, but do you remember any of the film?
Vaguely.
Do you remember the big like cat like animal that attacks Jake near the beginning of the film?
No, not really.
It's basically like it hunts him through the jungle. and he has to like duck and dive and weave through like branches and stuff to try and get away from this animal that's like swapping and like basically like destroying trees to get to him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I kind of pictured this animal. I have a feeling this isn't going to hunt them. I don't think, because it shouldn't be carnivorous, it should be herbivorous. So I'm hoping that they've done that, because I know it's not probably going to be feathered. Otherwise, I'd probably likely see a feathered plumage down the bottom here by its tail.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't think it is. I think it's a biosyn product.
It all depends on how this the Therizino is, like its stance at this photo at this point. If it's got its body sort of like arched that way and all leaning forward, then all you're seeing is the claws and the legs. If you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying. So the tail would be up in the air to kind of. I do think it's. I just don't think it is, because I've seen an image of a toy that's been leaked, and it only has like I guess like a covering.
Okay.
You know how you'd picture like the what's it called? What's that? Tyrannosaurus, new Tyrannus.
Oh yeah.
Almost like that. So it's almost like a covering rather than a plumage like you'd find on the Isle, for example. Yeah. Really excited though, because this creature, I think if they make it highly aggressive but beautiful looking, I can imagine it being quite a big fan favourite, and this scene being so good.
Yeah.
So what do you think is happening in this scene, out of interest? For those that are listening, just not watching the program, we're looking at the image of Claire in the pond type.
Yeah. So thing. I'm just trying to look at the sort of background that she's in. So we talk. I mean, are they redwoods? I mean, she's in sort of it looks like the jungles of California.
Do you want to know what I think this is?
Go on.
I think this is a ecosystem that has been designed by biosyn, right? That has been kind of man-made to a certain extent.
Sort of like the Eden Project, but on a massive scale.
Yeah, right. And imagine that being like a huge game reserve where biosyn have released their own dinosaurs somewhere and their own project. Okay. And that is why I think Ellie has been brought in, because this is not a Lockwood Manor dinosaur. So this has been created and released. So unless they've gone into an environment or somewhere where biosyn have made, or they've stumbled across this wild area that's being taken over of the normal ecosystem, and I think that's why Ellie's been brought in. I think she's been brought in to work out what on earth is going on with this flora, basically. Why it's all changing, why it's all almost getting taken over. And that's my core headcanon, idea that I'd love to see myself.
Yeah, it's plausible though, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And they've stumbled into it, or they're on the search for something else and come across this animal. I don't understand why she's sort of like, she obviously hasn't gone underwater because her hair's dry on top.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether she sort of just stepped in it and sort of decided to breaststroke across.
I was hoping for more of like a predator feeling where she just gets out and covers herself in mud and so just lays there.
Yeah.
But maybe it is to lower the body temperature. Like the Indominus had the heat seeking. It could be that, just to lower a temperature just enough where Steve excited about a dino, it's not an Anki. It's true, Chris.
It's true.
I do love the Therizino.
Right, let's have a quick look at these messages. So Damien says, "What area in the movie is this at? Is that at? Because it's not the islands. This area feels like to me more Californian forest." Yeah, I'm with you. It could be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're definitely off the islands now.
Let's have a look.
You just had to put it up again, didn't you?
Yep. I still feel that the Legacy, aka SWS, should have been the studio for the practical dino effects and puppets. Stan Winston Studio, yeah, but I do think that the guys that took over from before, from Fallen Kingdom, did a good job. And I think this is this not the Jim? It's just the guys that did the Jim Henson one. I think it might be,
I think it is. I think I've heard that.
So I'm not gonna definitely not. I love Jim Henson's company, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to be jumping on any bandwagon to sort of, diss it by any means. I honestly cannot wait to see the Therizinosaurus on the big screen, Matt says, but please show it off being a herbivore that it actually was. I think that we are looking at a territorial reaction. Yep, definitely. Damien says, in Dominion, will Rexy pick up a cart and throw it like in the book? I feel like, if anything, she's just going to just trash cars rather than pick them up and throw them. I think that was a little bit of an over-exaggeration on how big the mouth was to be able to do it. Maybe, it probably could.
Could do a smart car or something.
Yeah, you can make it a smart car. Whee! Clarkson Clips, hello.
It's the Gregster.
Call him the Stig. Hi guys, I can't do his voice. It's Gregster here. I changed my channel name and diversified into being Eclipse channel. Oh right, nice, good idea.
Drop your link into the comments, mate, and we'll have a look.
And Just Cryptic is now subbed.
Thank you very much, mate.
And he just hit the bell, the notification bell. Good man. Good man? Good man.
Good.
Right. Season 4 felt like, Jared said, like a cross between Bond Villain's Secret Island and Island of Dr. Moreau, the Sean the Scan Command game. It was an interesting concept to speak. It was very interesting. Do you know what? Like I said, it was a fun thing to sort of go over. I liked some of the stuff they brought in. It was almost just kind of... Yeah, the thing that frustrates me with Camp Cretaceous is it tries so hard to try and link it in to the main storyline of the films, and the further they try, the further, for me, it kind of just sort of shoots itself in the foot a little bit.
Yeah.
It should be just what it is. It should just be a cartoon that's made for kids, that's got the Jurassic IP, and it's just soft canon. If you want to try and connect it in certain places, you can.
Yeah.
It's not. The thing is, it's not got the same sort of. I found with Jurassic, they're trying to get part of this Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe, and you can't do it with something like Jurassic because Marvel and Star Wars are so out of the realms of possibility, and Jurassic, as much as it is, a little bit far fetched, there's an element of realism attached to it. It's still grounded. Like it's not in space. It's still on Earth with science that you can do, but just not to the scale of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So, there is elements of it, of realism where, and they're trying to do this extended lore, which in Clone Wars and in Rebels, it works because if you bring up a new character called Zygon from the planet Zagreb, you can't argue against that because you can't. What do you say? Oh, it's in a planet in a galaxy far, far away. We can't get there. We can't prove them wrong. So you can sort of just say that's you bring this whole new character into the storyline. Fair enough. You can do that. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Same with Marvel. Like, it seems like they've got. I know they've got source material of comics, but if you want to make a new villain up, you can. Why can't they? Do you know what I mean?
Whereas we're really stuck to the issue that a lot of people have with the way the Stegosaurus was running. It's like it doesn't run like that. It runs with its tail down or up. I can't remember. But we rely on facts that has been proven by scientists in a film. And although Jurassic isn't 100% believable and scientifically accurate, there's still not much, you want to try and get that believability in. Whereas, like you said, with Marvel, Star Wars, it can be a kid's dream. all these creatures and monsters made up, whereas these are breathing, living creatures that were on this planet.
Exactly. There's no like everything about them defies physics, whereas this has got to be in the realms of possibility. So as soon as a show decides to bring in drones that can control 50-foot long dinosaurs, it kind of just, and robots, it just takes it that too far. And I think even Jurassic World uses holograms, right? And even that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But
there was a bit of Fallen Kingdom with the Indoraptor where it could follow, was it the red light?
Yeah.
So it was sort of touching on that sort of control where, anything can control.
But that makes sense because there's a visual aid and an alarm system that triggers, like, attack dogs, for example, have got like clickers and do you know what I mean? Like animals do respond to noises. So that's a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't know. Steve, I think you need to just watch it, honestly, just to sort of understand. Like, just binge it.
Yeah.
It'll be the worst 6 hours of your life, but
cheers, mate.
But do it. Mike says, I imagine the Therizinosaurus is going to be a hyper aggressive, like the Hadrosaur in Camp Cretaceous season 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last season.
Was it the Uranosaurus, wasn't it?
Yes, Uranosaurus. Yeah, well remembered, Steve. Well remembered, son. Damien says, I think Rexy picks up a car and throws it in the air like in the book. Well, I hope so. Matt says, I couldn't agree with you more, James. Well, what a chap you are. Chris says, maybe she's at the spa getting a treatment.
The Therizino's the masseuse.
Yeah. Jared says, imagine if pollen and seeds stowing away in or on the bodies of the critters smuggled off of Nublar. Some of these pollen and plants hybridized with local species in the wild of California. Well, there you go. That's exactly kind of the sort of
Jared, the paleobotanist.
Yeah, Jared the paleo. Mike says, I'm not sure Stan Winston Studios is doing the effects anymore. They seem very focused on the school aspects these days. That is true. Let's get some couple more and then we'll go into a new picture. I hope I see Unicast logo in Dominion on a children's book. So do I, mate.
Yeah.
Make us fortunes. The Rex throwing a car in the novel was a nod to Ray Harryhausen's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms from the Rhedosaurus. I can't even say that. Rhedosaurus picks up and throws the car. Nice. There you go. Well, can always rely on Mike for a bit of history.
Yeah. He loves his trivia, doesn't he?
He does. Great live streams. I really enjoyed them. Glad I'm the only one with similar thoughts about Camp Cretaceous. No, you're all right, mate. Right, so we're gonna go for a quick 10-second break, and then we'll be back with a new image. Well, here we are. Now, this image surfaced about a week and a half ago, I believe. Well, the first thing that sent the community into like just crazy debating is the brand new design of the Parasaurolophus. My favourite herbivore, must I say.
It is.
Thoughts?
It looks good. It does look good. Not gonna lie. Not really much to say on it, really. Like, I would have to. I'm not one to go like side by side of this. The Parasaurolophus. Don't know what he's doing. It's going back and forth. Let's see if I can get a picture of the original Parasaurolophus and just side by side, because I'm not one to actually compare. And I've got an issue. My mouse is no longer working. It is a pretty cool picture, though.
Yeah, I think that with sorry, my screen's gone.
Yeah, so
I think
my mouse has died as well.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. See, for me, I like the fact that they've given some realism. Like, there's a better image coming up that we can look really detailed at. Okay, which is probably more detailed than this. This looks a bit more of a adult compared to the one that I'm going to show you next.
Yeah,
we can discuss that image after because it's a completely different one. I'll tell you what, instead of talking about the Parasaurolophus, because the Parasaurolophus image that I'm going to show next is probably a bit more of a detailed version. We can go into that more then.
Yeah.
What do you think's happening in the scene? And Chris Pratt, what is he doing here, Owen?
Again, with the hand gesture, it's exactly like what he did with Blue. So I'd say he's trying to calm her down, and maybe someone has trapped her or she's caught. There might be wild hunters out in the open trying to hunt these dinosaurs, and he's trying to rescue them. And
I think there is actually a description from Colin that says something about that, actually. I think that is what he's doing. I don't think he's trying to control the para. I think he's just trying to calm it, almost like a horse.
Yeah, like Crocodile Dundee.
Easy boy, like just to sort of stop it from going. Obviously, because there you go, mate. Calm down. Call that a knife. Yeah, no. I think because I think you think he's a trained expert in dealing with animal behavior. He is an animal behaviorist. So
yeah,
like I'm sure as much as he's obviously dealt with carnivores, he has dealt with other forms of animals that are not dinosaurs, just things like cows and horses, and lowering his tone, using his distance, and I don't know. I have a feeling that he's going to be almost like a Steve Irwin sort of situation.
Yeah.
Where he's going to try and calm this para, because obviously we know how powerful they can be, especially like the one that lifted all those guys off in the Lost World in the game trail scene,
Yeah. So are we comparing this Parasaurolophus to the one in the Lost World in design?
Well, we can compare on the next image, because design wise we can do that. At the moment, let's just talk about the scene, whereabouts it will be. Apparently, according to Colin, this species is not far from Lockwood Manor. So that tells me two things: either another species has sort of commuted and gone into the area around Lockwood Manor, or it's kind of a retcon design to a certain extent, and they've sort of crossbred over the last 3 years. So there's some alterations towards the design. I don't know, how bothered are you
over unless it's something dramatically different? I'm really not too bothered. So, sorry, were you saying about it being close to Lockwood's Manor?
Yeah.
And the alterations. Again, I'm not really that bothered. It's like a lot of people were bothered with the Brachiosaurus scene in Fallen Kingdom when they said that was the same Brachiosaurus from the Evolution of Claire.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it is a sad scene.
Not.
Yeah. It is a sad scene, but even if it was the same Brachiosaurus, I'm still not bothered.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Like, some people are just a little bit just want the story to sort of they're more interested in the story than the subtle changes.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to fill too many holes instead of just enjoying the film for what it is.
Yeah. Matty says this is where I think Jurassic shoots itself in the foot in regards to realism and scientific accuracy. They choose to use Atrociraptor and scale it up massively than when they could have used the Utahraptor. That's true. They could have used the Utah. Doesn't my favourite dinosaur look absolutely beautiful? I'm assuming you're thinking that's sarcasm, Matt. I'm not sure. Right, Mike says, I'm still unsure a single Owen could lasso a Rang or a Para to calm it down, where it took a whole team of hunters to lasso and tackle a Para to the ground and still struggled to do it. I agree, Mike. However, it depends on the nature of... See, if you was to lasso a bull, say, right, going into its paddock, running around making loads of noise with multiple people swinging lassos around, the bull is going to be already crazy. It's going to go into defensive state and just try and basically survive, because his instinct will be saying, you're trying to kill me. Whereas if Chris Pratt goes into this situation like alone, calm, and approaches the animal in like a calm state, you know, it's more possible. Do you know what I mean? Can you see what I mean by that?
Yeah.
That would be my answer anyway.
Yeah, it could be the fact that this is injured, it's tired, it could have been there for a couple of days and it's on like death doors. Is it trapped in a snare? Well,
that is a good shout, Chris. Chris says, is it trapped in a snare? That's a good idea, because it could be, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And then it's, you know, struggling to get out, and Chris is trying to, I keep calling him Chris just because naturally, Owen's trying to like calm him down so he can free it.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good idea. I've never thought of that.
Because you see so many videos on YouTube, don't you, of like when deers are caught in a fence or sheep caught in a fence, that they are like, they do stress out, but if they've been there for a little while, they just lose all will to live, don't they? And they are calm and you can release them. So this could well be that.
Chris says, I legitimately think the design is so much better than any previous design we have had seen in the franchise. I think Owen is trying to herd her away from possible poachers. That is good. That, along with what Chris has just said, I think makes complete sense. Clarkson clips, Simpsons reference. I see you poked Knifey Spooner before. What?
Knifey Spooner before.
Wow. Do we have any maps of how big Lockwood's Manor land covers? Not that I know of. I've not seen anything.
It must stretch all the way to bloody Canada. Honestly, I thought this was Canada.
Let's ask the Amber Society. Oh, no, he means it's his favourite dinosaur. Good man. It's my favourite herbivore. Okay, so Jared said, I typed up a little screenplay story back in February, March of this year that spans several months after Battle of Big Rock. And one side plot had to do with a new strain, Parasaur, that happens to look like this. Nice. I added in a plot thread that this new Parasaur lacked Wu's genetic watermark, thus indicating that someone else had engineered it and added in concepts like hybrid Viger being a potential issue. Oh, nice. Sounds good, Jared, actually. Really good. Okay, so we don't talk about the Amber Society on here. No, we don't. So I think this is obviously it's going to take place in California. It doesn't get snow, does it?
It depends, because it's got a lot of high mountainous areas, isn't it? So those areas during winter are going to get snow. But what threw me was what threw me was Jurassic World Evolution using Canada as a map. Now I know they used UK and Germany and such, but I just felt that, you know, seeing the snow in here, I thought, is there a connection between the map of Canada and Jurassic World Dominion?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you're right there, mate, at all, because you know, this they're trying to go out open source, aren't they?
Yeah.
These
either
creatures.
that, or it could be like Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I think we're going to move on to the other image. So back in 10. Well, there we go. Here is the more detailed version of that last image. Well, I think the last image is actually an adult, and I think this might be juvenile.
It does look like a juvie.
I think it's a beautiful animal. I'm not gonna lie. I really like it.
The detail in this is extraordinary.
My favourite para is actually the bioluminescent ones that we see in Cretaceous. As much as I hate to say it, they are my favourite because I just think they're bloody awesome. But Cretaceous aside, I'm going to have to say probably I really do like this with the little the white bits under and the blue squiggles.
Yeah, because the coloration in the Lost World, that was red, wasn't it?
Yeah, the big red horn, the pompadour, Elvis.
Yeah. So adding in the blue and the white is a really nice touch, and I just love how much detail there is in this. I mean, if we look back on what the paras look like in, say, like the Lost World and such, the difference in this whole dinosaur is just it's just unbelievable. So let's see. I haven't actually got my mouse, so I can't bring up my comments. But if I read them out now, Doors Dino says, "Crap, I am late." No, mate, you're not late. And Mike goes, "Make sure to share the channel link on social media." Yes, definitely do that. And
all right.
Mate, I have been called some names.
Yeah, well, Adam won't be the one I'd call you.
But... No, mate, my name's Steve.
Sorry, Steve, I had to go quickly. What did you just say just then?
I was just saying about the just the detail in this in the para, and the coloration on it is just like unbelievable, really.
Yeah, I've been having a chat with a few people. One of them has been David, Jurassic Collectibles, who's really he works within visual effects and CGI, and he's told me that this is a practical maquette.
Yeah.
And the reason he can say that is said because, but if you look at the eyeball, there is almost like a gap between the eye and the eyelid.
Yeah.
And you generally normally find that with maquettes and animatronics, and also the pink paint that you can see in the eye there.
Yeah.
Can you see the gap as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like painted. And he said you only never ever find that sort of stuff within animatronics and puppets. And also you can see all like the dry brushing in between the scales.
Yeah.
Which is what we want. And I spoke to also James Ronan, who obviously is a student paleontologist, and he was talking about the anatomy of what we see here. This is actually a different species, I believe, of para. It's not. There's multiple species of Parasaurolophus. Some of them have quite long horns, a bit like the ones in the Lost World, whereas this one's got a bit more of a droopy one. And there is a species that have a droopier horn at the back. Well, I have to call it a horn. It's more like a crest, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I said, this could be a juvenile, hence why it's all colourful, and the other one isn't. But the one change that they've made is they've made this almost like this keratin mouth.
I was going to say, what are your thoughts on the mouth? Like,
Well,
call it the moustache.
It's paleo accurate.
Yeah.
It's actually paleo accurate rather than it being almost like a beak and lipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look according to the fossil record. So they've actually gone with something a bit more realistic, as on current science. You know,
So-
in 10 years' time, it could be completely outdated. So
we're agreeing this thing's got a moustache.
yeah,
I can't unsee it.
I can't. I think he looks like an old lady that used to smoke a lot with wrinkly lips.
Yeah.
Um,
I love the addition of blue in there.
with an overbite.
Yeah. The blue coloration in this, I really do love. It's
Yeah.
like something off the Isle, isn't it? Where we can create.
Oh, definitely. Oh, were you talking about the mutations?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? This sort of shade of blue, they've used a lot in Jurassic World. Like the brachiosaurs have it on their head and around the eyes. The Triceratops have it. The Baryonyx has this sort of shade of blue on its head. It seems to be a bit of a favourite sort of design by this new team that's in charge. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think it's great. I love it. I actually really like it. I'm hoping that it's not a complete retcon. I hope there's sort of some sort of element of explanation. If there isn't, I'm sure I can let it go, and I'll just bitch about it after the film. But like design-wise, I think it's stunning. It's a great little creature. I've got no problem with design at all. It'd just be nice if it was. It's not a Kronosaurus. It's already been confirmed that it's a Parasaurolophus from Colin. Gis LH says on the chat, it does look like a Chasmosaurus, but it's not. Or Coronosaurus. Yeah. It's neither. It is actually Parasaurolophus. It's already been confirmed.
Yeah, because the Coronosaurus has actually got a really, really long crest on its head.
Right. So moving on to one of these questions is, it's from Doors Dinos. How do you think about Rex's remodel? Would you class it as a remodel or just a subtle change?
Oh, what are we predicting?
No. What do you think about it?
I haven't seen the remodel.
Well, the one you see in the opening, trashing the camp, trashing the film.
Oh, sorry, the 4 or 5 minute short.
Yeah.
Yeah, going through. Again, I didn't pay much attention to the actual Rex's model. I've watched it once.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm sorry. I can't really comment on Rex's model.
I think Rex's model looks good. I think a lot of it's to do with how they've lit in it rather than what they've actually changed. I know they've done some little things, like they've changed the arms, Steve, to make it go more. The arms are in facing as opposed to which is more real compared to what they believe that it had. Also, what they've done is given the Rex a little bit more of a shading, bit more similar to, I guess, how the animatronics color pattern was from the first film.
Okay, so is it noticeable from Fallen Kingdom, the changes? Say for the average viewer?
No. No, it's something that's been done for the fans. The average viewer wouldn't even know.
I've got no issues then. If an average viewer can't recognise the difference between the Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, then I've got no issues. If it's for fan base, then okay, brilliant, do what you like. But I don't want massive changes between films, because then when we go, yeah, that is, if I'm sitting there next to my wife and I go, yeah, that's meant to be Rexy, she's going to go, it looks nothing like Rexy. Why has Rexy got these arms that fold in and a head that can do a 360 like an owl? And
let's see if I can find.
Just be too unbelievable.
Yeah.
But if it's subtle changes just to make it better, like I can deal with aging. Aging dinosaurs always a good one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've got the image. I don't think I have. Let me find it. I'll find it again. But yeah, no, it's not too dissimilar. It's kind of like there is some changes.
Google.
like there is changes to it, but it's not like, oh my god, I don't know. It kind of, I think people just asked like what I disagree with is that people are saying they fixed the Rex, they fixed her like she was broken.
Yeah.
She wasn't broken.
Right. Okay. So I found the picture. Yeah. So her arms are like you said, they are like that rather than.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Mm. And you said the eye shade. I mean, his picture's awful, but you said the eye shading's a bit darker, like they've darkened it round.
Yeah.
The eye.
Yeah, I did actually have the images, but I can't seem to find them, so I'm going to pop them up in here.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, like I said, I've got no real issues with it. Like details in that don't really bother me. It's more storyline that I want to be 100%.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Like sometimes, people kind of just want
to argue without, just because they can.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, what everyone sort of kind of compared this shot with is because they've got an image of side by side with like the breakout T-Rex.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of where it's all stemmed from, because when it's just little subtle things like the poses. I'm just trying to get into the mindset of these people that so desperately want to.
We're approaching 30-year difference, like a 30-year-old Rex.
Yeah. So they've sort of darkened the eye socket, give it yellow eyes a bit more, to make it look a bit more menacing. Got the darker shading around the mouth area, and like you said, the arms are in facing.
Yeah,
like it's good. It's nice. It's a good redesign.
Yeah,
to a certain extent, but it's not like Emma wouldn't notice. My wife, your wife probably wouldn't notice. So it's only for the fans that have sort of asked for her to be sort of bulked out and given a few subtle things to make her look more like the animatronic.
But the thing is, it's like I was saying, 1993 was when Rexy was out in Jurassic Park. That's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, she's not going to look the same.
No, I mean, you tell me a person apart from Paul Rudd who in 30 years looks the same. I'd love somebody in 30 years to, put some shading around my eyes and bolt my arms out a little bit. But, it's an aging dinosaur. I mean, Rexy, if Rexy doesn't die in this film, then I don't know what's going to happen. It needs to be the end of Rexy in Dominion. As much as it's painful, she's had her time. And Blue's the new face of Jurassic.
I wonder if she will be. I don't.
It's just making me think, because if you look what Colin was saying, that this is the end of the story, isn't it? They plan to do the 6 films. This is the end of the trilogy. Is it the end of just Rexy's story and Blue's story begins, and we've got Jurassic Park, we've got Jurassic World, and those 6 films are the story of Rexy from the beginning to the end? And in that time, new characters develop, and we've got Blue starting as the new face of Jurassic come the next film. So we could get, say, another trilogy, which I'd love, where, okay, Rexy's gone, but we've now got Blue, we've now got all these other dinosaurs.
I feel like this might be our stop to get off, though.
I don't know. I don't think Universal, with the amount of money that we make.
Oh, no. Universal will carry on making them. I just think this might be our stop. That's all I'm thinking. This might be where our generation, gets off. We've had a great journey.
Yeah, and a new one begins.
And a new one begins for a different breed of human. But Mike says, sorry to leave early, lads. Going to have to drop out. So have a good stream and catch you later. If it's not Happy New Year, it's extinct. Good. Well,
Yeah. So
see you
you
later,
think
Mike.
if we were to finish this film Dominion next year, and they were to say make another film 3 years later,
Yeah.
my boy would be roughly the same age we were when Jurassic Park was released.
Yeah.
So it would be perfect age for people like that to start a whole new love of Jurassic films.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a tough one because I do think that like we would all still watch it and still really want to get involved with it all and stuff like that. But I do also think that I think it'd be the end of an era, won't it? You know, all of the characters that we know and actually really got attached to won't be part of it anymore.
No, it'd be like watching Camp Cretaceous.
Probably.
You've got the Jurassic feel, but something's not quite right.
Yeah, and I do think that it might be. I hope I'm wrong. Because I want nothing more than to, you know, carry on watching and loving these films.
Yeah.
You might even have to change the name of the logo. Jurassic World. It'll be Jurassic
Kingdom,
planet, Jurassic Kingdom, Jurassic era, Jurassic era.
Well, that was the one of the things that a lot of people thought that this film would be called, wasn't it? Jurassic World: A New Era or something, wasn't it?
Which I still think is a great title for me.
It is.
Like,
it
perfect.
Really is.
But let's go back to some comments before we move on to our last image to chat about. It's like Fallen Kingdom design, Jurassic Park design put together. Yeah, it is. It's good description. I heard a few people saying that Rexy in the Jurassic World films actually looks younger than the Roberta model from Jurassic Park, based on skull morphologies and coloration. Well, I've actually watched Jack Ewings' live stream that he did a while back. You could probably go and find it. There's one about the T-Rexes and his Pterodome site on YouTube. And he literally traces all of the designs of the T-Rex skulls from the animatronics to the CGIs. And it works out that Jurassic World literally fits perfectly in between both the animatronic and the CGI version. So it fits bang in the middle. So it's almost like they've kind of couldn't quite pick one. So they've gone for the blend of both. So it's not that her design is wrong, which it isn't, because there is no right design. Because the CGI T-Rex from Jurassic Park is completely different to the animatronic T-Rex in terms of design. It looks nothing like it.
Yeah.
And then it goes. That's even for the Lost World, and it's for the Jurassic Park 3 one as well. None of them are the same. The only one we can probably say is probably the closest and most accurate to itself is the Fallen Kingdom one, because the animatronic in Fallen Kingdom looks like the CGI model. It looks the same animal. That's probably the only one out of all the films that is actually the same. So the fact that they've, I guess, took the CGI model from Fallen Kingdom and then just added elements of like changing the arms, changing the shading. A lot of it's to do with lighting. I'd be interested. I want to see this animal in daylight.
Yeah.
To see if it looks any different, because at night time, even in Jurassic World, the Rex had light in shadows.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm just trying to think. So in Jurassic Park, Rexy's enclosure was massive, wasn't it? She had a lot of open space to roam around in. And in Jurassic World, she's only got that small enclosure in Paddock.
And she's got little goats to feed off. You think she's feeding off everything. She's going to fatten up, isn't she?
Yeah, and not only that, she looks... I mean, right, she is older, let's face it, but she is older. But she doesn't look healthy in that film.
No, she
Fallen
doesn't.
Kingdom, she's now roamed the island again. She's got that energy. She's, she can sleep where she wants. She's back in her own environment.
Yeah, she does look like in her prime again, doesn't she?
She's got that back.
Yeah, definitely. Doors Dino says, imagine if the Dominion comes out and Jurassic World Evolution 2 releases a new pack where they change the Para and Giga. Yep, 100%. That's what I want.
Yeah.
But, well, I wouldn't want a complete Para design change. I would like a
skin.
a skin.
Yeah.
Because
like they've done with the Raptors, where you can have Blue and Charlie.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think you might get away with this looking like this with just a skin.
Yeah, I think you will get that actually. Once Dominion's out, they probably will add a skin for the Parasaurolophus, like the Dominion 2022.
Yeah, Matty says, I hope there will be a 5 to 6 year gap between Dominion and the inevitable next movie, but let's not focus on the next film trilogy on an individual animal story.
Yeah.
Chris says, I don't mind having a movie break at all, but would like to see live action series like Terra Nova-ish type of series. Yeah, do you know what? I've touched on this. Oh, hey, Sam's in the house.
Hey, always a good comment from you, Sam.
Yeah. I would like a live action series, but I just don't want anything to do with John Hammond or something like that, because I think whoever they cast just isn't going to be Richard Attenborough. So no. I just don't see the point. I'd rather them do it based on something extending a story that we don't know much about, either like where biasing have been. If Dominion doesn't cover this, where biasing has been in the last 10 years, or to do something like following life since Fallen Kingdom in the open world and having different villains from different pockets around the world dealing with different situations. You don't even need, because things like that, you don't need your Alan Grants and your Eddie Sattlers. You could probably, I know Bryce probably won't do it, but you could probably get away with a smaller cast. You could probably use the Franklins and Danielas or whatever the name is.
Yeah.
There's them sort of actors and actresses that probably aren't even in this film that much to give them a bit more of a major, because streaming is almost like the way forward, isn't it now? Like you're getting, I look at all these Marvel series that are getting the main actors on like huge contracts to fill in 6 episodes.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they can't do that. And I think that'd be a great route. And it also, it would almost, it won't be as marquee as the films, but it would add something that's more realistic and probably more fun to watch than for an adult than Camp Cretaceous. That's a bit more like video game style, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're right. A sort of Terra Nova style series would be absolutely amazing.
Well, Chris, unless they cast me as John Hammond, yeah, correct. PC Security Channel. I'd love to see a movie version of the actual story of the Lost World by Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton. Yeah, I would, because the story in the Lost World compared to the film is drastically different, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Right, I think we're going to go to a quick break for 10 seconds, and then we'll continue on, and we'll continue talking about the next image, which looks pretty awesome, but it's been a bit divisive among the community. Well, look at this.
That is a pretty cool shot, though.
Okay, so first of all, I think the image of the raptor doesn't look very good, but I think this is what you get when you try to capture a still image from motion.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it looks so weird.
Yeah, sort of distorted and disjointed, doesn't it?
I don't think it's a lack of visual effects on the detail. I literally just do think this is actually an image taken from a fast moving 25 frames a second, like freeze frame. This is the best they can get.
And not only that, you don't want to give away the full reveal in a picture for a magazine deal or a website article. You want that reveal, proper HD detail in the film when you're sitting there.
Yeah, I think here Sam's just said, what do you think happens in this scene? That's what happened. Go on.
I was just saying, this is like straight out of Mission Impossible, isn't it? When he's like riding the bike through the whole city centre.
Yeah.
Um,
Expect some very fast and the furious action scenes here.
Yeah, a lot of explosions.
James Bond, stroke Mission Impossible. Yeah.
One of the houses is going to turn into a submarine, and that explodes and shoots him into space. And now I think with this, I reckon. So he's getting chased down by what is it called? The
Atrociraptor.
That's it. I was going to say the Atrocious Raptor, but the Atrociraptor. I think it might come close to him like getting attacked by the Atrociraptor, and maybe Blue comes in to save the day. I don't know.
This is supposed to be taking part in Malta, Steve. This.
Yeah, I was about to say that it looks a lot like Malta.
So I don't. You got good eyes for some rocks. I've seen the staircase before, son.
I've been there. No, it's no. I'm just trying to think, because obviously the scenes that we know that they filmed in, just that whole style of building is very like Malta-ish. Owen falls into the wood chipper.
Yeah. Well, this raptor is called Ghost, Steve.
Okay.
All right. So,
Ghost the raptor.
It's called Ghost because there are 4 raptors that have been made by Biocin, I believe. I can't. There's some sort of form of media that's given me the that did give me like a, what do you call it, like a description of the names.
Yeah.
I'll try and get it up on the screen now. Where is it gone? Oh my god. There we go. But it hasn't got the names this time. So there's Ghost, and then this one. There's one called Tiger, I think might be this one. Panthera, and something else. I think it's called Panthera. Someone in the chat might know the names of the dinosaurs a bit better than me.
Yeah.
They might have studied it, but these are the raptors, which I believe are. I think there is a link here to do with the Lost World or Site B.
Okay.
Because the female Jurassic Park 3 raptor looking similar to Ghost. I know Sam's like, can't say nothing.
Can't say anything.
Yeah. But if you look at
Ghost, that's it. Ghost, Tiger, Red, and Panthera.
Red, that's it. Red's this one. Because Red, I think, Red's my favourite design. It's not the clearest of images, not gonna lie, but I like the above here. They've got some scales on their head that look pretty cool. Yeah, I can't get a clearer. I'll have to look for a clearer. Yeah,
I like Ghost just for how different she is.
Yeah, she looks cool. She does look good, and she looks the closest to what the Jurassic Park 3 female looks like.
Yeah.
Although, as you can see in the image, though, provided before, where are we? That one.
Yeah.
She's got a very robust head. So these animals are designed differently to the Velociraptors, but they've still got these funny arms.
Yeah.
So I reckon they're definitely the Jurassic Park 3 DNA in them.
Alan. Yeah. It does look pretty cool though.
Oh yeah,
I just wish they had a clearer shot of it.
Yeah, we'll get one.
Yeah,
we'll get a clearer shot. There was obviously the animatronic heads, wasn't there, that they used?
Yeah,
not the animatronic heads, the fill-in ones.
So, what do you think this scene is? What's happening in this scene?
I don't know. To be honest, I think they're obviously on some sort of form of mission to try and work out. I reckon at this point they're after people. They're not after dinosaurs at all. I reckon they're after people that are doing something dodgy, and basically he's investigating what's going on, and they release this animal and it goes after him. And I think that's why he's on a bike, because I think there's more than one as well. Because I did hear a rumour that Claire is running on some roof to escape. It's almost like a Lost World nod to Claire, to Sarah Harding.
Yeah.
And she has to leap across the rooftops to try and escape with another one. So I do think this would be quite a fun. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Claire jumps on the motorcycle opposite to Owen in front of him, and he drives away with her holding on his neck, trying to shoot a gun at the raptor behind or something like you'd find on Mission Impossible, which would be a car scene.
Yeah, throwing out high heels at him.
Yeah, but it might take a few people out of it. But I wouldn't be surprised. Everything that's been spoke about on this scene, on this film so far, we've heard from people that have seen, they're very, very happy with it, and pretty much all they can say, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Like Sam says here, I've been 6 months and I've probably forgotten more than I remember.
Yeah, I bet he secretly filmed it. He had his little GoPro attached to his chest.
Yeah. Let's have a look what Dorsdine says. The one in the right is Tiger, the one on the left is Ghost and Red, and the next one is red is Panthera. Yeah. Design of the skull feels much more like a Utahraptor, like what I think actual Atrociraptors Maxima and Dentaries suggest.
Yeah.
But then when you think about it, we can't really sort of complain about what they should look like, because they're all genetic mutations, aren't they? Like these guys, if we're believed to be DNA stranded from the Jurassic Park, let's just say for argument's sake, they go to Site B, they get the DNA of the raptors because they're the most intelligent ones that we've got, apart from Blue. If they can't get hold of Blue, the next genetically in line of the most intelligent in the lore is the Jurassic Park 3 raptors, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, because they communicate with each other. So they go to the sauna, Site B, they get the DNA from them to make these ones. Now, obviously, there's a mixture of other stuff in them to make them bigger, because they're bigger than normal velociraptors. And they could have used the Utahraptor. They could have used the Utahraptor name, and they chose Atrociraptor, which is it's their choice. They can, it doesn't really matter to me. But what I think people should not moan about too much is the fact that they don't look like the actual animal, because the Velociraptor doesn't look like a Velociraptor at the end of the day. So we kind of just got to accept that we've got aggressive raptors again hunting down people. And, that's one of the things that people moaned about, that the raptors were too docile in Jurassic World until the final act. And so let's moving on here. So design, the skull feels much more like a Utahraptor than what an actual Triceratops. Yeah, that's what we read that one. I don't think we're getting a trailer until Super Bowl. What does everyone else think?
Yeah, we're too close to Super Bowl for them not to just have it at the Super Bowl. I think that's what we're going to get.
I believe that, Jared. I think that might be the case, mate. I think that we'll get something similar, that they'll probably be controlled like the Indoraptor was. Sadly, I agree with you, Chris. Surprised we haven't had a trailer yet, or at least a release date. Yeah, I think that if we're going to get any trailer, it'll be Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, especially now. How far away Super Bowl? February?
Yeah, we're talking 2 months.
Yeah, when is Feb?
Usually end of Feb.
Oh, so still the back end, don't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. I watched the first Super Bowl last year, and it killed me because it was like stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I was. So this year I'm going to be a bit more enthusiastic about it because obviously Dominion as well, and there's some other trailers that are probably likely sort of show a teaser as well. Some other films coming out this year, coming up. Right, so we've got Jack is in the house. Welcome, Terradome. I spoke about your video earlier, Jack. Actually, doing a little plug for your channel. I said about your T-Rex analysis video because someone mentioned in the chat about what do you think of the new T-Rex redesign, and I said, well, there's been about 5, so I use your video as a reference. 13th of February, is that right? That's not at the end of Feb. It's like bang smack in the middle. That's good. That's not too far away.
All right, month and a half then. I've watched the past 8. I still can never remember when it is. I just know it's February.
These vehicles give me a lot of hope. I don't want to see Alan riding a galley. It's too Jurassic Park saga, I think. I don't think Isasauna Communications. I don't think we'll get anything that ridiculous. Hopefully leave that with Camp Cretaceous and its ridiculousness, and nowhere near my films. Thank you. I feel like the motorbike is kind of on the nose purely because it does almost fall into the action movie category as opposed to the science fiction adventure story, which is what the Jurassic kind of comes under. But at the end of the day, how else are you going to get away from a raptor?
You ain't going to run, are you?
You've got
gymnastics.
And if this was Alan Grant riding it, then I'll be like, shut the front door. No way, no chance. But the fact that he's Owen, Chris Pratt, are you surprised? No.
Yeah. There's only 2 ways to get away from a raptor, and that is on the bike or doing gymnastics.
Yeah,
that's exactly the only 2 ways. Yeah.
So it is fine. It's fine by me. I'm quite happy with that. Jared says, I've got to go. Great streaming. Go Happy New Year, and may life continue to find a way. See you later. Thank you very much for joining, Jared. Hopefully you've liked it and shared it.
And Happy New Year.
Very much appreciated. Happy New Year to you. There is no one. Look, Rex, and then Jurassic James Roden's in the house. Sam Neill riding a galley like Will Smith riding an ostrich in Aladdin. Prince Ali, fabulously. I think you probably could ride a Gallimimus actually easily.
You just wouldn't. I suppose it's like an ostrich, isn't it? You wouldn't want it to kick you.
Saddle up. Let's get this movable feast on the way.
Yeah, because even in Evolution 2, when you release, it's either the Gallimimus or the Archaeoniphomimus. I think, who is it? One of them just says, if you can picture an ostrich, this is like the ostrich. I forget what they said, but they reference it to an ostrich, so it can't be far off.
It kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Giggle chickens. Clark's there. Hi, Terradome, Greg Star, rename my channel. Yep. Barry is apparently coming back. That would feel if that back. What would you feel if a Atrociraptor killed him? Well, I'd be happy. I like seeing people die on screen, but
I do love Barry.
But I like Barry's character. I'm glad. Do you know what? I'm really talking about Barry. Let's talk about Barry for a second. I'm really glad that they brought him back. Actually, how did you feel about him in Jurassic World?
I loved his character in Jurassic World.
Yeah, he sort of had a really good connection, didn't he, with Delta?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, you can see that he loved his job, and if Owen was ever to get killed by the raptor, you knew that he would be second in line to train these. And
he was definitely second in command, weren't he?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know if they give you a bit more of a backstory as to how they know each other, because Barry kind of come across like he was an old friend, like he'd known him for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, when they hired him out of the Navy, whether Owen said, my mate is just as good as me. Or I need him. Like he'll help me get these animals trained. Something like that.
Maybe he got him out of Navajo. You just never know. What was it? Matty says Barry should have been in Fallen Kingdom and not that god awful Franklin. Now I think that Lowry should have been in Fallen Kingdom and not Franklin.
Yeah,
I think Lowry knew the systems, he knew the park, and he would have been a much better fit than Franklin.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus, I love Jake Johnson.
Sorry,
I love Jake Johnson as a character, like as an actor. He's such a good actor.
He was good. He was a good character as well. Like I liked his character really good. I think it would have made sense as well, like them bringing back Lowry.
Yeah, because it literally was his job. Yeah,
like he knew the park system. And the thing is, I'm trying to think about why did they bring? They didn't need to bring Franklin in because they brought him in because of the electronical connectivity geek side of things.
Yeah.
But they could have just branched Lowry's character to have that.
Yeah.
But
he always was that geek, wasn't it? Like the geeky thing with the Jurassic Park top. And I guarantee that if you were to say to Lowry, unless he was too scared to go back to the island and wouldn't, I would say that if you were to say to Lowry, come on, we're going back to the island, he would love it. He'll be there picking up the Jurassic World t-shirts, any merchandise he can get his hands on.
You just say to him, just think how much stuff you can find to put on eBay.
Yeah.
He'd be there in a heartbeat. Absolute heartbeat.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Barry. A good old trusty... Back to Barry.
Mr. Barry.
What is his surname?
I couldn't tell you.
I know his real name is Omar C. I can't think. What do you think? What do you think his surname is?
Delta Man.
Barry Delta Man. I'm going to go with Barry LaFleur.
Barry LaFleur.
Right. Did you see the new Carno image? It's the same one from the end of Fallen Kingdom. What if Rexy found that Carno and remembered him or her? No, I didn't see the new Carno image. Actually. Oh, one more thing, Jared says. I wanted to mention before I go again. I just finished my largest sculpted cake to date, modelled after the Buck and the Bull Rex. I'll post a pic on the Discord when I get a chance. Good work.
Yes, definitely do that, mate.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Brilliant. And if you are a member of Twitter, tag us in that as well, because I'd like to. Yeah. I'll retweet it for you.
And Jared, I know you got to go, but if you were to wait 3 minutes, we'd probably be ending the stream in about 3 minutes.
Yeah. So that'd be nice to if you could hang on. But yeah, no, I think final thoughts. Let's do final thoughts. Final thoughts. Final questions.
Okay, so. With the images that's been released, I'm happy with what's been released because it's not too much of a spoiler. It does get conversations starting, but it doesn't give, it barely gives anything away at all. And that's what I want. And that's what I want to follow in the trailer.
Yeah.
So I don't want what we had in Fallen Kingdom. With the trailer, it needs to be minimalistic, but it captures the audience to want to see the film without giving too much away.
Yeah, do you think... Oh, there we go. Do you think that we will get clips based on the images we've seen? Or do you think...
I'd say so.
Yeah? Or do you think we'll get extra stuff, which then just gives away a little bit more?
Yeah. It wouldn't make much sense to add a lot more stuff in that we haven't seen, rather than, just expanding on what we have seen just a little bit. I mean, even if we saw, a quick action scene of Owen on the bike going down the stairs and the Atrociraptor comes around the corner and is chasing him.
Cut.
And then it fades to something else. And maybe we don't see the full Therizino. All we see is Claire going into that swamp and the Therizino is there lurking to reach over. And then it cuts to something else. That's all we need to see.
Yeah. I think you've got to remember this last this trailer has got to bring general audience members back to the cinema.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think it has to have the original 3 show.
Yeah. We'll show
Not even to say anything, but to show their face.
Even if it's such a minimalistic scene where they first meet each other and like Malcolm goes, "Oh, we're here all over again."
Yeah.
And then face to face, and and they just that's all you need.
You're not together. Something like that.
Yeah.
But, that's all I'd need.
Yeah, it doesn't give...
Coming 2022 June.
Yeah, and you just got older Jeff Goldblum laying on the table with his shirt open.
Did you watch the Star Wars, the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker trailer?
No.
At the end, they did the Palpatine's laugh.
Okay.
And it made like all the Star Wars fans go, "What?" Imagine if like they had the whole trailer of no Jeff Goldblum, and then right at the end is arr, 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 and everyone's just like, "Oh my god!" That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I think they need to show some sort of element of the original cast, possibly a glimpse of them all together. Almost like a standing away shot rather than a dialogue shot.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh my god, they're meeting. All the characters are meeting. Like everyone's sort of meeting together, and then because you got to remember, like, there's going to be fans that are not like us. Like our friends, some of our friends, our close friends, like aren't into it as much as we are. Like they're huge Marvel fans. And we have little debates and arguments all the time about what's better.
Jurassic is better, though.
We know what's a bigger franchise because it appeals to everybody. But this is like the end game, isn't it? This is like the conclusion of everything, the celebration of everything that's come before it. So I feel like the trailer needs to show that. So when people like our mums or dads or brothers, sisters that aren't necessarily as huge Jurassic fans as we are, dinosaur nerds, see that trailer and go, "Oh yeah, I want to go and see that. It looks really cool."
Yeah,
and that's what I want. Like, we're always going to absolutely just not criticize, but we're going to analyze every single scene, every millisecond, because that's just what we are as a fan base. We're going to do it. We're going to try and get soak in as much as we can. Naturally, but I do think that that's what needs to be done, and I think if they do that, then I think it will build up that hype even more, because we don't need any more hype build. We've had a year delay on a film. We're definitely hype. The community doesn't need hype. It's the general audience that does. So they've got to be very, very clever how they market it. I know that obviously Chaos Theorem guys, they've got something coming out a month before release, I think, the movie release, but I don't know what. Obviously, they're all they're working behind those doors. That'd be something cool, I think, for the viral marketing to get this ball rolling. Let's take a few more comments before we finish up, because we're going to probably finish up in 2 minutes. Dominion will be the world according to Jeff Goldblum's season 4. Season 4? I don't know what you mean by that, James. Do you like my logo? Yeah, what the hell is that? How many TV ads promoted Mercedes? Might be a different brand. Now it's off the island.
You never know.
Why would anyone want to see Rise of Skywalker? I like that film. I remember the Lost World being involved with Tetley T. Still got the pencil case somewhere.
I've actually found a Tetley T Jurassic Park coin.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll have to dig it out somewhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, my dad goes, "Oh yeah, I found this," and threw me the coin. And Yeah, Techie T on the back.
Nice. They should do with they do that with Bison, and he says they shouldn't use my name. Yeah, that'd be a good little nod, actually. Your bottle disappeared on the screen. Then look, it's a green bottle. Woo. Yeah, no. Anyway, we're going to finish up there, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful live chat that we've enjoyed. We've spoke about everything that's obviously images that have been going out at the moment. We are super hyped. I don't know what we've got coming up. I know you're going to do the live stream of Jurassic World, building Jurassic World continuation tomorrow or the day after.
Tomorrow or the day after. I'll let you know. If you hit that notification bell, then you'll know when it comes live, because the actual PS5 doesn't give you a pre-warning of when we're going live. So
No, it doesn't.
It's usually between 8 and 8:30 that we do the live stream. So
yeah, definitely. So I'll
book
be probably, hopefully, I might be joining that. I can't guarantee I will, but I might be. Steve will definitely be doing it either way. Trying to get that completed. Don't know what else is coming up. I don't know if I can be bothered to continue to do my my editing of that reaction video because it got shut down.
the Camp
Cretaceous reaction.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm going to do that or not. I might do if I get time. My time is very limited, and so is yours. So
with Jurassic World Evolution, I've got some video ideas where I'm going to be releasing some tips and tricks to help you pass any challenge mode, any chaos theory mode, anything like that, just to get you started. Because I've been really successful on all my parks and not had any issues. So
yeah, I think one that you might be able to do is how to make money really quickly.
Yeah, I can manage to get out to 300k a minute without releasing one dino.
So stay tuned. And I think there is only one thing left to say, mate.
Yes.
Life. We'll find a way.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.